I believe it'll be a good one. So with that, I'll give you Jennifer. As they say in acting, break a leg, kid.
Well, let's not do that. My knees already give me problems. All right, so hello, everyone. David, you want to take my seat now so you don't have to be all by yourself? Like he said, I wasn't the one that was supposed to be up tonight, but, you know, as luck would have it, I'm just that good friend, and I know that she's always got my back, too. So my name is Jennifer. I'm from Salina. Born and raised, been here all my life. I mean, I've ventured off a couple of times, but, you know, I always find my way back home. This is actually the 5th time I've given my lead. The first few times were in prison. But my first time ever giving it here at home was at my home group in Fort Recovery. A couple of people were blessed to be there that are here tonight. But I tried to do a little something different, you know, with each time I give it. I just trust in God to lead me, and, you know, all I can do is my best and let God do the rest. So, like I said, born and raised here in Salina. It's all about experience, strength, and hope, so I can tell you what it used to be like, what happened, and, you know, how I'm blessed to be the woman I am today. I don't really remember a lot of things under the age of 5, but I can go off what I was told by my mother. She was married to what I call my sperm donor. Very young. They were pretty much out of high school sweethearts. They had my brother first, Josh, and then they had me. They ended up having some problems in their marriage, you know how that goes, and they separated. And at first, we lived with my sperm donor, and he lived with his parents, and they're from Salina as well. I was about a year old, so my brother was about 3, because we're like 3 years apart. I was probably a little under a year because my brother was around 3. So we were basically babies, and living with my sperm donor, he worked a lot, left his home with his parents. I can't really tell you. Like I said, I can only go by what my mother said, but there was some abuse that happened to me and my brother at a very young age. My brother was burnt real bad with a lot of cigarettes, and I'm just not going to go into detail about things that happened to me because, you know, I think we can just use our imaginations. But so when that all happened, my mom ended up getting us, and shortly after that, she started drinking. She started working at the Club Cafe here in Salina, worked there for many years. She pretty much lived there. I'm just going to be honest. That was like her home. But so when we first moved in with her, after, you know, getting taken from my dad, my sperm donor, like I said, she was already drinking heavily. She was working at the Club Cafe, and within a short amount of time, she doesn't know what happened. I think it's crazy, but she says that she woke up one day and got me out of my crib, and the whole right side of my head was caved in. I still have an indentation scar to this day. Don't know what happened, but, you know, it is what it is. Not everything is meant to be understood and known. So with that being said, we ended up getting taken out of my mom's care, too, and we were put in foster care. As luck would have it, you know, not all foster homes are the best either. So, you know, some things happened within the foster home that we were in, too, and I don't know, just crazy shit. But so around the age of 5, my mom did end up getting me and my older brother back. And by that time, she met a man that was just as much of an alcoholic as she was. I didn't know at that time what it was because, like I said, you know, I was only 5. But I learned real quick. When we moved back into the home with her, the man that she was with at that time, they actually had another son together. So I had my little brother, Chad, that I got to meet. He was awesome. He's no longer here today, so sometimes I still get a little choked up when I talk about him. Anywho, so, you know, like I said, my mom and Chad's dad were both heavy into their drinking and things, and I was first introduced to physical abuse, you know, within the relationship. It was very, very intense. I can remember numerous times where, you know, they would fight and scream all night long. I don't remember everything, but I will tell you the one event that traumatized me for the rest of my life. I was the only one home. My two brothers were staying with one of my uncles, and all I remember is hearing them, going at it in the living room and things. And I came out of my bedroom when I finally did not hear him, there anymore. And I found my mom hog-tied with phone cord and all kinds of stuff. Two black eyes. I mean, it was just horrendous, and it was a very scary thing for me. I tried to actually call 911, and she wouldn't let me. She told me to call her boss, Harold. Love Harold to this day. I actually came back in contact with him working at Call Food Pantry. But anywho, so yeah, so I was introduced to, the alcoholic lifestyle with her. Man, it was just a hot mess for a long time. The man that she had Chad with also was very abusive towards, the kids. I'm going to tell you right now, I was so terrified of the man that he literally could scream and I would pee my pants. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I was terrified of the man. I would stand in the corner for hours on end. It was just a hard time, and it was a lot to take in, as a very young child, just back to back, all the different things that were happening. It was a lot to bear. I never was loved properly. My mom, like I said, was an alcoholic for many years. We were passed around to like different babysitters, and I can tell you right now that the very first time that I ever tried drugs or alcohol, I was 7 years old. I actually had a babysitter that stood me and my stepsister in front of a mirror and taught us how to inhale weed at 7. I couldn't make it up if I tried. So, my life was very chaotic, very early on. Eventually, Chad's dad and my mom did end up separating, and, she was just a hot mess for a while. We'll just call it that. She was a hot mess for a while. I met a lot of different, people in that time span, but God did send an angel eventually, and he is the one that I call my dad today. Best thing that ever happened to us. He dealt with a lot of shit. He dealt with a lot of shit when it came to me, for sure. But I was the only girl between my two brothers, and then he had 3 boys himself. So, I was the only girl, man. I gave him hell. When they did meet, my mom actually chose to get sober. They changed their life completely around. They both quit drinking. It took my mom a little bit longer, because she was, doing it for so long, and it was just really hard for her to do. But she did do it. She succeeded in quitting drinking. So her and my dad lived a sober life for like 20 years. But when she did decide to quit drinking, I went from basically not having parents to, now I've got this dad, and man, I was hell on wheels. Like, I am not going to go from doing whatever I pretty much want to do to not being able to do anything. So I got rebellious, very rebellious. By the time I hit junior high, gosh, I was smoking weed, smoking cigarettes, drinking. I became very, so junior high, yes. So like, I started experimenting myself more often with smoking cigarettes, drinking, and smoking pot. I was very rebellious, like I said. When I hit high school, I got into my very first relationship. I was almost 15. It was a woman. And, that didn't go over so good. My mom, she dealt with it for a little while, because, she just told me it's just going to be a phase. You're going to phase out of it. It's not going to last. And it lasted for a little over a year. She was the first person that I felt ever really, truly loved me. And I really did. I really loved her, and I felt very hard for her. Like I said, we dated for a little over a year, and because of, she was overage. She was 20, and like I said, I was about to turn, 15. So I had my mom, well, I like to believe that I had my mom convinced that, she was not over the age, but as luck would have it, she got an underage one time and got put in the newspaper. So yeah, my mom definitely knew that she was, way older than, I claimed. And so with that being said, she kind of put her foot down and said that that was where she was going to draw the line. So at that point, I started really getting out of control because I could not let her go. Like, she literally was the first person that I had ever loved. The first love that I had ever really known. For myself. And so I became very rebellious. I was stealing my mom's vehicle at night. For a long time, actually. I mean, I was running away from home constantly. I got numerous, what do they call those? When you're a juvenile, come on, help me out. What is it? Not truancy, but yep, unruly. So I racked up numerous unrulies. I got arrested numerous times, but I was underage, so they never took me to jail. They just took me home. But so yeah, and then that is when I started getting a little bit heavier into the drugs. I experimented with cocaine. I tripped on acid, but I definitely was heavy in the drinking. As time went on, obviously, my girlfriend was just pretty much over it. It was a crazy lifestyle. It was a crazy life, to have to do all that crazy shit to see her and just everything like that. So, she ended up walking away, and I was traumatized. I'm not going to lie. I was definitely traumatized. But, what do you do? My mom eventually told me, after that relationship had ended, that she was ashamed, because I'm going to tell you what, I'm that type of person that, I am who I am, and if you don't like it, I don't care. You don't have to look at me, you don't have to talk to me, because I just am who I am. And so with that being said, I never hid my relationship. I was out in the open at 15 with this woman. I mean, I did not care what anybody thought. So, eventually my mom said that, people would call her and tell her all these, things, and whatever the case may be. Like I said, I was just unruly, and I didn't really care. So she ended up telling me that she was ashamed, and, eventually I would meet a man and, get married and have kids, all that nonsense. So as luck would have it, I did meet my husband. He's no longer with us, but I did meet him when I was 17, and, to be honest with you, when I first met him, I met him to buy some weed. I just went there to buy some weed from him, and, boy, I tell you what, I tell people all the time, like, he was stuck, like, just from that first time, and, like, I mean, we just were best friends before anything else, and, he was such an amazing man. He really was. Well, I tell you what, he was a strong man, too, to deal with my shit, let me tell you. But he was the best thing that happened to me after Kelly. And, when I was 18, we had dated for about a year. And when I was 18, we were heavy into the drinking and smoking pot. And we also tripped on acid a couple of times. But it was pretty much just weed and alcohol. But I don't know if anybody knows anything about St. Anthony Tavern, but man, that was the spot when I was 18. I could always go in there. Rick didn't give a shit. He thought I was hot. I'd get all the free drinks I wanted, all that good shit. So we went there one night, and we were pretty lit, and we ended up getting beer to take home with us before the bar closed, and we all went back to the house, and everything was cool. But he had a couple buddies that wanted a ride home, and so I'm just a good person, and I'm just being honest. I may be selfish at times, but my heart is good. And so, I was going to give these people a ride home, and, I don't know what the reasoning was, but Wayne was not really happy about it. So we ended up taking them together, and, apparently these people, I don't know, they thought they was going to have their way with me or something. I don't know. But so we ended up getting into a huge argument on the way home, and I wrecked my car. And yeah, so I was 18 and I got a DUI, and I know that we were having an argument, but still to this day I don't really remember how it happened. But that was where our life took a turn for the worst. I almost killed him, actually. I almost killed him. We wrecked on St. Anthony Road, and everybody that have ever go down those deep ditches, and I don't know how it happened. I still can't really place exactly how we ended up there, but I was going this way, and somehow we wrapped all the way around the pool this way, facing the same way I was driving, and his whole side was smashed into the ditch. He ended up having a lot of problems. His gallbladder erupted. He had a collapsed lung. His hip was broken. His clavicle broke. Like, I mean, you name it. Like, it just, oh my God, it was a traumatizing time. But he ended up, recovering, and, I was through him through it all. I was with him through it all. I was a nurse with no degree. He had an incision in his hip for 2 years. I did a dressing change twice a day, maybe not all the time because our addiction did come into play after that car wreck, but I mean, I literally was his nurse. With that being said, that is when our addiction really got out of control. He got put on Oxycontins and Percocets and all that good stuff, from the car wreck. And so, our life really just spun out of control at that point. We were a hot mess for a couple of years, and, the insanity is even in the pill addiction and stuff, like, I wanted a son. I wanted a kid, and I know that sounds crazy, but I just really I wanted to have kids, and when you're in that addictive state, like, you think you're normal, you think you're fine, like, you still want everything that everybody else does. So, God gave me what I wanted, and I did have my son, Aiden. He's 21 today. Actually, when I gave my lead in Fort Recovery, it was on his 21st birthday, so what a blessing that was. He's amazing today. I'm very blessed. So we had my son when I was 20. We ended up getting married when I was 21, and then I shortly had our daughter. My son and my daughter are 16 months apart. After we had the kids, that's when meth came around. So then I was 21, and Wayne was 5 years older, so he was 26, and that's when meth came out, and so we started doing meth. Made me insane. I really thought I was invincible. You couldn't tell me anything. I was doing the craziest things, and I caught my first prison bid, 4 years and 11 months out of All Glaze County for a robbery charge. One thing I can honestly tell you is through the insanity of me and Wayne's lives and our addiction, because of that car wreck, I always felt guilty, and so I felt like I owed it to him to always be the one to do the time. So that man has never seen a day locked up except 30 days in jail. I have literally done all the time in prison, but it was just something that I allowed my guilt to trip me up to do. And so with that being said, he was the one that was always there for Aiden and Emma. I ended up doing a few prison bids because eventually when I got out of prison on the second number that I did, that's when everybody started doing heroin. Wayne was already doing it before I got out, but until I got out, I had no idea about any of that. He was the very first person that ever shot me up. I thought I could hide it, so I had him go in the vein in my boob, like I thought I could be, just hide it, but insanity, it never lasts there. So I became addicted to heroin, and that was when oh my God, they lived in Ansonia, so 2010. It was about 2010. That didn't last too long. We started selling the heroin on top of doing it, and I ended up getting another prison bid. And before I could make it home, Wayne died. In 2012, when I was in prison doing that bid, Wayne died from the disease of the heroin and stuff. That was a hard pill for me to swallow. I was blessed enough to be able to go to his funeral from inside prison. It was an experience, let me tell you. I was shackled and handcuffed, but I was blessed enough to go and say goodbye. When that happened, I asked my mom to step up to the plate for both of my children because I really believed in my heart, and I've always been a firm believer in God. God has always kind of led me. When I have a sober mind, I know how to listen to Him, and He just put it on my heart that the best thing would probably be for Aiden and Emma to go with her and my dad because they had been sober for umpteen years, and I just really believed that it would be their second chance. And I just really believe that they would really do right by my kids. They did. Aiden and Emma are the best things that prayer could have ever asked for. Prayer is powerful because they are phenomenal people today. They are phenomenal people today. The bond I have with them is phenomenal. It is only by God's grace. I just love them so much. So with that being said, my mom did step up to the plate and she did take my kids. But unfortunately, I was never strong enough to ever get my shit together. They stayed with her the whole time. until they were grown. My daughter is now 19, and my son, like I said, is 21. My daughter does have her own place with her boyfriend today, and my son actually still lives with her, but it's a blessing because I'll get to that part in a second, and you'll find out why. So my mom did step up to plate. She took my kids, and I was just pretty much a hot mess for numerous years. I was out on the streets. I was completely stuck in addiction, looking for love in all the wrong places. Just after Wayne died, I literally was just lost in the sauce. Couple more prison bids. I got out in 2018 on the last one that I did. Well, not the last one, but I got out in 2018, and that was when I had my next stint of meth. And boy, I'm going to tell you what, God made a movement happen in 2018, and I don't know if anybody here ever experienced it, but I know numerous people that have. My friend Chrissy and Crystal, they're two that have been blessed by it, but I'm going to tell you something right now. God made a move happen in 2018, and we were blessed to be part of that move. I had a breaking point in the summer of 2018. It was the month of June, and I will never forget it as long as I live because it was when my life changed for the best forever. I was in the middle of nowhere, and I literally did my last shot of dope and meth together. It's what they call a speedball, and I just really wanted to be taken out. I just didn't want to live this life, you know. I never knew. I just did not ever think I was going to be able to do it, and I just pretty much was tired of living the way that I was living, so I wanted to die. So I did this last shot, and I'm going to tell you on God that I died that day, and there was nobody around. There was nobody around, and I'm telling you that God came alive in me that day because when I came to, I knew things had changed. You know, in the 12 steps, it talks about that spiritual awakening, and I'm telling you what God knows. I was blessed enough to experience that, and I couldn't make it up if I tried. God came alive in me, and from that day, I had a spiritual warfare like nobody's business. I was terrified. I told people, you know, it was a blessing and a curse, but, you know, I tried to do right. I ended up getting locked up because I clearly could not grasp what the hell was happening to me, you know, and so I did end up getting locked up for another bid, and I went to prison for a year. I came home, best I ever did. When I was in prison on that number, it was the best I ever did. I changed everything about myself except the things on the inside. I just followed the rules, and I just feared to do anything wrong. So with that being said, I came home, and I lived my life the best for 2 years, almost 2 years. I had an apartment. My daughter moved in with me. I was working at Totally Promotional here in Coldwater for a year and a half. It was the best I had ever done. I was not perfect, though. I had started drinking. Someone introduced me to Kratom, and I was smoking pot. So those three things I was doing, but I did maintain a life for almost 2 years. As luck would have it, you know, I lost both my brothers within 11 months. I lost Chad first. I don't know if anybody remembers the car wreck that happened on Mud Pike where the car went into the house. He was drinking and driving. That was my little brother, Chad. My older brother, Josh, you know, I don't honestly know what happened, but he also got into a car wreck. He was driving to take his Amish crew for work one morning, and he veered left of center and got hit by a semi. So, I don't know, I just kind of lost myself all over again after that. I became very angry with God, you know, I just became very angry, and I pretty much just, that was it for me. I relapsed. And as luck would have it, you know, I don't know why God loves me so much, but the man does. Okay, that's all I can say, because he swooped me up one more time, and it was literally the best thing that ever happened to me. It was the last bid that I just did. I did 2.5 years. I just got out December 9th. I went into that prison determined to accept and surrender to God because I knew I had no choice in the matter. And I did a program called TTP. It's a recovery program in there. I did it for a year, and I also taught it for a year. I decided to take my life serious. I worked a 12-step program. I got a sponsor. I literally lived every single day like my life depended on it, because I knew that I did not have a choice whether I was going to be part of this world, and that's just all there was to it. So I just had to do it to the best of my ability. And I stand before you today, almost 32 months sober, and this is the longest I've ever been sober. This is the best I've ever done. Between God and recovery, I mean, I thirst for it like my life depends on it. Nothing comes in between God and recovery today. I haven't been in a relationship for just as long as I've been sober. No sex, no nothing. I have seriously just committed myself to myself. I just love myself today, and I love my kids, and I love my family, and I love my best friends that stand beside me. They're the only two that I really connect with from the past. I had to let everybody else go, which was also something that I always found hard to do, because you just want to see other people make it and stuff, but I had to surrender that to God, because you know what? We're all part of God's plan, and I tell people all the time, I hope I see you in the meetings, and I hope you see you at church, and if not, you know what? I'll pray for you anyways, but I'm going to tell you what, God is a miracle worker, and I stand before you a miracle today, because I never thought I could be the woman that I am today, and that is the truth. I had to surrender all my demons. Man, I went through hell and high fire for those 2.5 years, and I currently stay at the House of Hope here in Salina. Best thing that ever happened to me. I have a wonderful church. I just finally got my membership, too, after all these years. It took me a long time, I'm telling you, to get my shit together, but I did. I got my membership. I partake in all the activities. We just had Nerf night on Wednesday. Man, best thing ever happened to me, but it did mess my knee up a little bit. But it's getting back there. But I just love with God's love today, and I love people the way they deserve to be loved. No stupidity. It took me a long time to know what real love was, and now that I've been sober so long, and I just see God's love, I just give everybody God's love, and you know what, that's all that I have for anybody today. I just truly love who I am today and the woman that I have become, and I could have never gotten here without this program. I work these 12 steps every day, whether it's on paper or whether it's in my head. Man, I surrender something every day. I take inventory every day, because as luck would have it, we always run into somebody that we know from the past or something like that. So, sometimes God will, remind me of something I've done, and that's just the way it is. But I just let it be a thought, and I say, you know what, I already forgave myself for that, and God already forgives me, and I don't dwell on it, I just keep it pushing. So, I work those 12 steps every single day. Step 10, every day, if I know I hurt somebody or if I feel like I've done something wrong, I always go to that person, because the way that I want to live my life today, I don't want to live it with any type of animosity towards anyone. Like, I genuinely love everybody, and that's just the truth. So, this program and God saved my life, and I continue to work it every single day to the best of my ability. Like I said, I do my best, and I let God do the rest, and that's about all I got, guys.
Hey, thanks.
Oh boy.
Or girl.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I know it's a lot, isn't it?
No. Before comments, I'd like
Oh.
to thank you for taking the time to come over here.
Thank you, Steve.
Certificate of
Thank you.
appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Steve, alcoholic.
Hello, Steve.
That was one hell of a powerful lead. I needed to hear something like that. Because basically, you touched on everything. From what you went through as a kid up, and what you went through, and then you decided to do, other things, and finally, then you ended up in jail. Well, you ended up doing prison time. And like I was fortunate. I only spent one weekend at the Mercer County Gray Bar Hotel, but unfortunately, I was in the military when that happened, and I basically told the judge, I said, "What are you going to do if I don't do that time?" Basically, the judge looked at me and said, "The next time you come through here, we pull you over, you're going to be in jail because for a failure to not follow up on your thing." Okay, but enough of that. But you know, God, your higher power helped you, but you just had to keep, like anything else, like all of us. We hadn't hit rock bottom yet. We had to hit rock bottom, and you know, my rock bottom was when that commander of mine said, "One last chance to finish your career. That's it. If you don't, you're out." That was mine, and that was damn near 35 years ago. But um, I love the lead. It's what I needed to hear because basically what it did was you touched on all areas, and it does work. This program does work, folks. If it can work for her, it can work for any of us. You know. And I like the idea that you stay in touch with that you and the lady that runs the House of Hope.
Crystal? Oh, Sandy? Oh,
So-
yeah.
Yeah, I know Sandy. I think I just told you that she's my neighbor, but she's a nice lady. She really is. And she,
Will let us share?
but that's about it. That's all I've got. Thanks for a great lead, Jennifer.
I'm Tom Alcoholic.
Tom.
I wanna thank you for sharing. That was pretty awesome. The whole lead, I've heard before. And just keep coming back because they made it to you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, Tom.
Hey, Wes.
Hi, Wes.
Didn't even see you sneak in.
Yeah, I was late.
You're forgiven.
So I'm glad I caught most of it, and, the early part, I guess, I knew from hearing you for recovery. So, a couple of things, reacted to. I think it's important at some point, and I showed that to go back and process those early experiences. It wasn't damn easy, but, with some help you can do that. And if you don't, it holds you back. So I guess you showed us that you learned that and you found some way to work it. And you can talk fast.
I get told that all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's nervousness.
and I like having you as part of our community.
Thank you, Wes.
Thanks, bud.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
I'm all on alcoholic.
Yeah.
That's the second time I've heard your lead. And it's kinda like reading Bill's book. It's changed. I call, well, you said you change it up, but there's just a lot I got out of it that I can't really explain, and I wanna thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thanks, Al.
That's it.
I'm Andrew, recovering alcoholic.
Hey, Andrew.
I want to thank you for sharing. I don't know if I heard you the first time or not.
No, we weren't home yet.
I'm just glad to be able to be here and hear your story. I wish you a lot of luck. It's a long journey. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
I'm Gary, an alcoholic.
Gary.
That's a good lead, Jennifer. I know a lot of your family members. I knew Shad, and I know your mom. You deserve this program. You got a hell of a story to tell. Saying that's we come here and we find hope. You don't have to live that way. Look, we all have demons. Creighton just a tip of the iceberg. You don't change other things in your life and you hang on, you're not gonna make it. But I turn my will and my life over to God, because I understand it, to be honest with you. That was just amazing, leader. You deserve what this program can give you, and think of all the people you're gonna help. Think of all the people you're gonna help by being an alcoholic and an addict. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
working alcoholic.
Hey, Corbin.
I'm happy to hear your story. I appreciate it. You very strong woman. God bless you and never forget you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That's all right.
That's all right.
Kevin, I'm an alcoholic.
Kevin.
Thanks, Jennifer. That's a good lead, and, you know, I heard you in Fort Recovery, and I'm very grateful to have you a part of that group. You're a big part of that group. You know, I knew your mom and dad from a long time ago, and, you know, and actually I knew your little brother. You know, and that's all tragic, things that we all had to go through, you know, and, you know, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that. But, you know, you're here now, you're doing well, you know, you have a lot to offer a lot of people in recovery, and, you know, and that's what we need around here. You know, so you just keep doing what you're doing, and good things are going to happen to you. And I know that. I don't have no inside
Sure, I'm gonna be calling you later,
connection
Kevin.
with anybody, but I know that if you keep doing what you're doing, good things are going to happen. So thank you for sharing your experience, strength, and hope. And thank you for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend, Kevin. I love you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
Yes,
I'm Brad, I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Brad.
I want
Brad.
to thank you, Jennifer. That's the second time I heard you also. I was over there at Court Recovery when you gave your first lead. What an amazing story. Wow. The cards that you were dealt were unbelievable in your life. And one thing that I loved about how you said it more than once, God was always there with you through your whole life. Even when you were pushing him away, when you were in your active addiction, and that's the way we all were. We were pushing him away when we were drinking or using or whatever we were doing. That every once in a while you'd realize that he was there, he was looking out for you. And you become willing and honest, and that's what we have to be and have to do. And like other people said, just, wow, keep coming back. You're going to help a hell of a lot of people with what you've been through and how you can relate and stuff. And that girl, well, I call her a girl, the lady you filled in for, you keep hanging around with her, and you guys will do some tremendous things.
Amen.
Just
Yep.
thank you for being my friend.
Thank you for being my friend, Kevin. Thank you so much.
I'm Brenda, I'm an alcoholic.
Hello, Brenda.
Hey, Brenda.
I'm grateful that I came tonight. It was a great story, and I'm glad you spoke tonight.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you, Brenda. I'm glad you're here.
Anybody else got anything to share? Okay. Who you see here, what you hear here, when you leave here, let us stay here.
You're here.
Let's close with the Lord's Prayer. And if you want to be...
Throw my tissue away.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yes, we do. I never remember. You're okay. You know what, usually mine are, so that tells you it's hot up there, you know. In the hot seat.
Jennifer, take us out.
All right. Who gives us strength and keeps us sober?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, and the glory forever.
Amen. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Won't if you don't.
And to do what?
What is it?
To do what? I'm not going to the bowling alley. I'm full. Have a drink on, Daisy. Peter.
Oh, you guys gotta have a lot of apparatus. Hi, Wes.
I knew what.
Oh, I seen you, what's your name?
To diabetes, her pancreas stopped producing insulin. She went to the hospital and they couldn't even get a read on her sugar until they gave her a dilution, or I don't know, they had to dilute it. And when they diluted it, they were able to get a read and it was over 700.
Did you pay your bill?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she said, they said that they didn't even understand how she was
Gary, I've
coherent.
never.
Oh, wow.
So she's up there with her.
Her A1C was over 700?
Yes.
Ooh.
I don't know.
So they,
Can you call in? Can you
What's
just-
that?
Somebody called me in, but I couldn't.
I don't know, it's
Like
whatever,
$10.
however they check to see what your blood sugar
Call me
is.
once.
They had to check her blood sugar and it was over 700. So,
Shit, that's way up there.
Hey,
Almost coma.
can I record you?
I suppose, I knew you were gonna ask this, and I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking about it all the way here.
Cool.
About how I was gonna feel about it, but it's fine, Tom, you just do your thing.
Yeah.
See, Tom, you stress people out.
I stress them out, but usually they come around once they get started.
I don't really give a.
Well, since I have a little bit of time, I just wanted to make sure I got here early enough to let you know if you wanted to find someone else who still has time, but if not, I'll step up to the plate.
Oh, no, good job.
Alright, I'm gonna go get my vape and okay?
What's right for voicemail? Oh, maybe you have.
Hey, Tom,
Maybe I do.
what's her name?
I forget.
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Huh?
Jennifer?
Jennifer? Hey, Gary, what's that girl's name?
That's your blood.
I don't know. Well, I mean, if you're,
How do you do it?
I had my A1C done.
Yeah, like.
I had my A1C, well, when I ended up getting I had to change physicians because Doc Heinrich's retired. I had a new A1C count done, and mine was like 6 point.
No, it's not.
I think mine was like 6.1. I don't think that's bad. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Cellular data's on. I thought maybe your airplane mode was on. It's not.
If airplane mode's on, that means that'll really mess things up, won't it?
Yeah.
Because that's only supposed to be on.
Charlie's supposed to come back.
They are. Thanks for the warning.
Hey, R.A.
Hi.
Hey, alright, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Good.
You want to do your usual?
Hello, Steve.
Hello, my brother. How are you?
Good.
There's your stuff if you want to do it. Gary, who was that girl that was in here?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Jennifer. Whatever. What's the first letter of her last name? Any
I
idea?
don't know what her last name is.
Oh, that's all right. I'll just ask her. Ladies.
Yeah, I used to Nesher's Market where you live at.
And now, yeah.
Yeah, you know Nesher's Market years ago.
You know-
Ted Nesher, he lives out by that area. That was his home place.
You know who lived right on the corner there, right next door?
Yeah, but
Elmo Beegler.
Yeah, but Elmo's dead, Bernice is dead, they're all dead now.
Oh yeah. Doug, I haven't seen Doug.
Yeah, he lives in St. Henry. His boy comes here, Travis.
Oh really? That's his son?
That's,
Doug's son?
Doug's son.
Wow. Now I haven't. His old Doug's sister Deb. She married Okie Roberts, I think. And I'll tell you what.
Last initial?
H.
H.
This one person told me about the story there years ago, and I said, oh yeah, there's the grass is too big.
His brother,
Well-
Brad, were
I've done given so many damn leads. If you want to record me, fine. I don't give a shit. I don't.
That's what it's all about anyways, right? Sharing your experience, strength, and hope with people, so.
Hell yeah.
They moved to South River so screwed.
I guess it's really no different than doing the speaker at my Sunday meeting for the people on the phone, you know?
His whole family's nice guys.
Where do you have a meeting at?
The Fort Recovery meeting, I made my home group. I'm actually chairing it this month.
Joni
Well, I
and
was, now it's over, so.
Joni and Jim were. Where did I hear them the other night? Oh, that was Wednesday night, I think. Yeah, I chaired them Wednesday night. They were on the. They were on the.
Yeah, the speaker?
Yeah.
Yep,
Not ready yet.
yep, they've been tagging
Yeah,
along
he's got it.
quite often.
They said that. They said they had. What was it? They said the boat flooded.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
I didn't
They
hear
had to
that.
buy a new pump for the damn thing, and they said, I think I heard Joni say they went to a meeting down in Key West. I'm like thinking,
Yes, they did. You know what? They gotta watch the Super Bowl too.
really?
Yes, they did. They parked somewhere for the night and got to watch the Super Bowl somewhere where they docked and everything. They had pictures of it on Facebook. I was like, I know that's right.
Damn, where was the Super Bowl held this year at? Hell, it's 3 weeks ago, and I can't even remember that.
New Orleans.
Yep.
Yeah.
New Orleans. Oh, they were down in New Orleans?
Mm-mm.
See, New
No,
Orleans.
they didn't watch it in person. I just mean like they were able to dock somewhere for the night and watch it on TV.
Oh, cool.
No, I don't think they're on the East Coast. I don't think they're up in the Panhandle, or are they?
I don't know where they are now. Just
Yeah.
recently they were at the Key West somewhere, but for
They
the
went-
Super Bowl
they said
were
they went
able
to-
dock somewhere and
They said they were at a meeting in Key West, and they said it was pretty cool.
wow. I try to keep up with all their posts, but you know.
When do they do back? I have no idea. Well, I can.
Well, they said 3 months, so.
I don't
Yeah, I
blame
know
them.
they're
Hey,
not gonna make it home for the bowling thing on the 15th. That I know for sure. So I want to say.
I
for
know.
April.
I'm glad. You know. I know. I'm
Oh.
glad both. I'm fine.
Jesus, Lord have mercy, be careful,
I
Steve. What the hell are you doing?
thought you're drunk, Steve.
What the hell you got mixed in that
Yeah.
orange thing? Vodka?
Gin.
Oh, God.
Hey,
Well, that's
There, watch both of
Cold
them.
gin time again. I remember listening to that rock. I listened. One of the first hard rock bands I listened to when I grew up in '76. Kiss.
No, I don't think that's what was SYS, that don't, that's short for
I like
system.
it.
Oh, it is?
I saw their first. I saw them in concert.
See you soon.
I saw them in concert in '81 in Germany.
It is.
Oh.
I saw him in concert in '81. I saw I saw Gene Simmons. I
Oh,
saw
my God.
Peter Chris.
You know what, my great aunt Dorothy, she lives in Wabash, still to this day, but she has a collection of all the Kiss dolls. I'm not kidding, it's something to see for sure. Boy, she's a rock and roller at heart, no doubt about it. Loves Kiss and AC/DC and all that good stuff.
Whole lot of Rosie.
Yep.
One time AC/DC, they lost every
By the air cleaner in the engine compartment.
AC/DC's. Well, their drummer's gone. Well, they got a new drummer. I don't know what his name is. Malcolm Young and Angus Young were the driving force of that group. Bon Scott died of alcoholism. Brian Johnson came in, and he damn near.
It says, it tells you what
He
to
was
do.
in that group. He'd been in that group since
Screwdriver and tap it.
God, I don't know, 40 years. But the thing of it is, he damn near he had to quit. He had to quit performing. You know why? The dumbass, when he was on stage, never put hearing protection. Yeah, started to.
I don't, it's,
Yeah.
what, I showed you that, it says,
Transistor.
yeah,
I
I've never
saw.
heard of it.
I saw.
It has to do with shifting and,
I
and
saw.
in park and yeah, on
I
stuff.
saw. Who was it?
You put it down in neutral and it still won't
Was it
start?
Ace
Oh,
Frehley?
you
Can't
can't.
even
Which
move
one,
it.
which one's
I got
that?
that dial.
Peter Chris.
Oh,
No, Peter Chris was the drummer. They called him the. They called him the Catman. He was the Catman.
Yeah, yeah, you,
good car.
yeah, yeah, you let them.
Peter was it Ace Frehley? Paul Stanley was the lead guitarist and lead singer. Paul Stanley, during his part of one act, a wire came down
Well, it should be
and
covered
he
then, shouldn't
hung his guitar on it, and it was exploding.
Yeah, so.
It exploded. It was fireworks coming out of it. That was
Oh my
part.
God, that is
What was you saying
insane.
earlier?
They get wild.
That's a sound like a starter.
Oh, well, what it is it ain't letting it go in
Now
the
you wanna
car.
know, if you wanna know what was probably,
Let it, I don't care.
Gene Simmons, now Gene Simmons did two things during his show. He usually did three things during his show that would probably, a lot of people, that could really kinda, could make people cringe.
The push button.
He would stick his tongue out, and I mean, his tongue is like about
So I thought maybe I had the piece.
that long, right?
Back with the screwdriver and maybe do what it.
And
Hi, Tom. Hey, Charlie, how are you?
And I couldn't.
then he would
So
bite
I-
into
I
like
left.
what they would look like a
And the
blood
wife called me
caplet.
and
It
she
was
said,
like a,
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
mean?
and then it looked like, and he let the blood just dribble down the front of his thing.
No,
And,
she said, just
but
go
actually,
in
what
there.
set him off,
I said, I'm an outdoor.
what he did,
speedway
his
right now.
favorite
She goes,
thing
"Well,
was
that thing was making
he
a
loved to
noise
breathe
like
fire.
someone was beating on it."
He would take propane or
Oh, my God.
propane into his mouth, and the flame would go about.
Recall on that,
Stuff people do for,
GMC.
you know,
You're not having very good luck, are
Which
you?
I knew I was gonna
Insane.
get that. Says the transmission, or the rear end will lock up. Oh.
Did you see that heated argument today with?
Oh, yeah, you had an argument with old Blinsky.
What you got there, a supper?
That's Richard, I took him down to see his wife, and left him in my car, so.
Oh.
There he
How's
comes.
he doing with his broken knee?
Here comes trouble. His name Richard.
There he is.
How did he get down
How
there?
are you?
How did he get down them steps?
Ask you.
Hey, Ricky.
Hi, Richard.
Dinner?
Here's your dinner.
Oh.
Yeah, you forgot about that yet.
Buford's gonna.
No, I didn't
Yeah, I thought maybe you heard, like I said, I pulled it up on YouTube, and it shows me how to fix it, but.
So what did you type in on there?
oh, your
On
hands
YouTube.
are warm. Mine's
Yeah.
freezing. My hands
got
are
a
always
warm
cold, I
heart.
swear.
Hybrid. Then that
Really, Richard.
SYS
You got a warm heart, don't you?
failure system.
You got kids at home, or you
What's
got
that?
kids
Yeah, but they're both grown
Hi,
up.
Peter.
and gone?
They still live in Salina, but they're just both grown up. My son actually lives with my mom, he helps her out a lot. My daughter has her own place with her boyfriend. They're both amazing.
And mom, and you live, and you got your own, got your own place, and
No, I live at the House of Hope.
that's okay. How you like Sandy out there?
Yeah, right now.
She's alright, she's a little
I
rough
said,
around
if
the
I was trying
edges.
to kill you, you wouldn't be asking me
She's
if
just
I was
tough.
trying.
You know I know her real well. She's my neighbor.
You ain't gonna treat me
Oh, I
like you do
took her home
Charlie
for the
about
first time
stealing
with Crystal
pizza.
the other night.
Huh?
I took her home with Crystal the other night. We went to the Emmaus Walk this past weekend.
The what?
The Emmaus Walk.
How you doing?
Where's
You
that
never
at?
heard of it?
Heard you
It's a
busted
spiritual
your knee
journey.
up.
You go and you stay in a church in
Hurt your
Sydney
knee?
for a weekend and you just begin a closer walk with God.
Sandy is that.
Huh? Put it back in?
Sandy is 75.
Oh, okay.
You know why? You know how I told her that. I said, I know how old you are. She says, how old do you think I am?
I've heard of that.
I said, you're 75 years old. She says, how did you know my birthday? I said, Sandy, you ain't gonna believe this, but one day I was at, you know where
Well, I just typed in there.
OIO Coldwater is, right?
I don't know what OIO is.
Occupational Institute of Ohio. It's like, if you had, like, I go there to have, like, my shoulder checked for carpal
It's like an
tunnel.
orthopedic place?
Orthopedic.
Okay.
Orthopedic Institute of Ohio is what it is.
In Lima?
In Coldwater.
Okay.
Coldwater's got one. And it's like, you know where the hospital is, right?
Yes, I do.
And then you know when you go
There's a
past the
doctor's office
hospital.
on the corner.
And when you go past the hospital, there's like a building there.
Oh, I know where you're
And then there's
talking
like
about.
4 of them behind each
Yep,
other.
I do know exactly
Number
what you're
4,
talking about.
building 4 is where it is. I told Randy one day, I told Sandy one day,
That's what he just says.
she said, how do you know how old I am? I said, Sandy, you're not going to believe this. But one day I walked into, I was at OIO getting my, I think my carpal tunnel checked or whatever, right? And I just happened to look at the computer, and guess what they did? They left information about you up there, birthday, where,
Oh
everything.
my gosh.
So I knew it.
Hi,
Andrew!
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's
That'll
that.
help
Yeah,
that
she
too.
She was
definitely
born
said-
in 1949.
Yeah.
The record prior.
49.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you get it neutral.
You know, she really doesn't look like
I got that deal
75.
on my-
I'm sorry, my hands are cold. I'm gonna warn you now. They're always cold.
That's all
What
right.
am I
Alright,
have to
yours
do?
are warm.
You must have a warm home.
That's what I say. Cold hands, warm heart, see?
And it,
It's cold hand.
Andrew,
How we
did you
doing?
get a nap?
No, I didn't nap tonight. I just listened to my disc.
Oh. I
Hi,
thought maybe he was
Andrew.
taking a nap.
How are you?
Hi, how we doing?
How we doing, Andrew?
Charlie?
Tom, you want to read something?
Paul. Sure.
Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Ah.
12.
Go, guys.
Whatever.
Hey,
How we doing, buddy?
see you, bud.
I got me to read.
Hi, Paul. How you doing? Hello, Paul.
There he is.
Long time no see, bud.
What's up, buddy?
How you doing?
All right.
Good to see you.
Mr. Richard.
Charlie, Charlie.
I'll give it to Charlie.
Hey, how's it going?
Conditions?
Lou, hey Paul, how you doing? Let
Charlie,
me
you wanna
see.
pass them, or Charlie? Steve, you wanna pass those books out?
Yeah, that's
Too bad. How about yourself?
Good.
Oh, so that.
How you been, Mr. Leo?
Huh?
How you been, buddy?
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. You?
Bored? Ain't no football.
I've been going through withdrawals. Yeah, I miss it.
You don't have any basketball tonight?
You remember that?
I don't watch much of that.
No, but your grandson and that.
Oh, no, I had that last night.
Oh.
No, they're
I
done.
was gonna say, they should be about done.
Yeah, they're done. And in tournaments, I'm sure they'll get beat for
Coldwater, you want to hear something funny? I don't know if it's section or district, but Coldwater boys and Marion local boys playing tonight. When I heard that, I had the thought, I said, you know what's gonna be funny? Some of those guys that played basketball now on Coldwater, some of them and some of the boys that played, that are on Marion team, they played each other in football.
How can a guy that's 6'6", 6'7", 400 pounds?
Well, the way I understand, the Marion coach don't let them boys play basketball. That's what someone said.
Well, when they play is, you can just run track, they can't play anything
Yeah,
else.
that's the way I understood that.
Me too.
What's so goddamn funny?
Charlie.
I'm used to it, I was picked on in school too.
Ah.
See?
We always picked on the nerds. Still up there, Anna?
Yep. Still
Good
making
job.
motors. Still making motors.
Good.
You work at Honda?
What do you make motors for? Regular cars?
Civic and, CRV, MDX.
They need to.
How many out a day?
You what?
How many motors do you make a day?
Our line only does 500.
Oh, yeah.
No kidding.
500 a quarter. We're the slow line. The other lines do about 1,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they double us
A day.
a day, yeah.
Well, they got the manpower.
So what do you do
Where
during
in
the
the hell
day?
are they
You
putting
just
all these
stay at the house?
Don't know.
No, actually, I'm working right now at, call
Most of
food
them goes in
pantry for a
cars,
vehicle. I have to do 80
Probably
hours
doing
and
their
I
cars.
get a car.
Oh, boy.
I just can't believe
That
this
is good,
stuff
but
is
it's
so
worth every bit of
outdated.
those 80 hours, so I've got 19 left.
fun,
I should
Jay.
have it by the end of
5,000
next
a week.
week.
That's too
What's
long.
that,
though,
100?
really.
And then I'll be getting a job.
Yeah.
It's just.
You're working at Pantry Pride?
Well,
No, I work at the
I don't know.
Call Food
What,
Bank,
what's them motors for, the
Salina.
1,000?
and then when I
I'm not
get
sure.
my hours
Oh.
all done,
Oh.
You wanna know what?
Tony,
Hello, Miss Steve.
You wanna know?
How you
what-
doing?
I'm Jennifer, what's your name?
Tony.
Tony, I'm Jennifer.
And, they do a lot of different models. Hey, Tony.
Fine, Barry.
I'm not sure what each line does.
Yeah.
Yeah, call food pantry. That's you know,
It's just like, I can't believe.
those guys. I'll tell you what. I worked over at Moeller Trucking for 26 years, and I'll tell you what. They get so much, I've seen this happen. They have been, I don't know how long they've been collecting food,
It's hard to believe
but
they sell that many cars.
at least as long since I've been. And I'll tell you what,
What'd he do?
Tell me I was number one.
Oh, he did?
I'll tell you what,
Yeah, he gave
a
me
lot of dry canned goods, a lot of canned goods, a lot of dry cereal and juice and stuff. I mean, company. I mean, I've seen it happen where a truckload. Now I think they've got a freezer over there, don't they?
Oh, yeah, we got big freezers, coolers, yeah.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen where.
Now it's working.
Now it's working. What is it,
What'd you do?
They get donations from everywhere.
The Moeller boys have been donating to them for a long time. And I'll tell you what, I was over there one day. One of the guys came over. They drove. They've got a fairly good sized van over there, and they drove over, and Art loaded up. Art loaded loaded that thing up. They had a couple of pallets of like juice, like
Like Sunny D and things like that.
huh?
Sunny D and stuff like that, yeah.
What was the name? They've got. Yeah, the funny thing about it is down there, you got some of the big haulers. They're real strict. I mean, if your trailer comes in there and it's got less than 3/4 of a tank, they won't load it because of that. If the tandems are not all the way to the back, they won't load it because they're worried about it. If it was up to me, I'd tell them in a heartbeat, take your damn tandems, shove it, because I don't like it's stupid.
I don't know where you go.
Hi, Betty. Oh, I'm all right. What'd you do? Leave him at home? Here comes trouble. Hey, you know you're in trouble. You didn't make the coffee tonight.
Wayne.
Did we get a new coffee mate? Yes, we did. We got coffee and it's ready.
Hi, Betty. Hi, Betty.
Very good. Where'd you go?
I'll get you. What?
Send him back. Where'd you go?
Me?
Hey, yeah, your house.
No.
How you doing?
No, I see
Somebody sitting here?
Huh?
what's wrong with the phone?
It's working now.
It works.
See ya.
What's
Oh,
wrong?
you too.
I found somebody called Phil.
Hi, buddy.
They don't sound better.
We talked about steps.
Brett.
Yes, sir.
Oh, tonight is.
I'm back.
Oh, my God.
So you got some
Shrub, He's done. I think he's done that.
Good, how are you?
Kurt was asking about me on Sunday. I said, no, he knows I'm well.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is it supposed to snow or?
Yeah, Saturday.
I seen
How you doing?
the line from the bridge. The line from the bridge where they put that calcium and stuff or whatever.
Hi, Kev. How you doing, young man?
All right.
Teresa got that done.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold. It's all weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, not like it was this week.
Even if it's not, I still think it was the feel that it's not.
Yeah, he's ready for spring coming in.
It's a big difference for sure.
So what's your big goal?
Well, which part? It's Vegas walk and, just been trying to bust some hours out as well so I can get that car about 19 hours. I'll have it next week.
Best thing to do is
God,
right.
it's so good, and then I'm gonna be able to get a job in Conway, dude. I'm probably going back to the promotional, to be honest with you, because I had my mom talk to, somebody, and they said, tell her to have it.
Hey,
I worked before. Yeah, she's worked for 11 years, and she'll be there 11 years in March, so she'll get me in. But I just had to wait, I had to patiently wait, and I'm ready. I am beyond ready. I'm so tired of having to ask for
Hello, hello.
I'm ready to do it myself. So stressful.
There was Matthew, yeah.
Wow.
Chrissy was supposed to get me tonight, but, she had some stuff to do her mom.
She's gotta take him to the hospital, so.
Oh, yeah, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, yep, her body stopped producing enzymes, and then she's got type 2 diabetes.
Dwayne, too.
Yep, she's about to go through
That is nice.
you know it. She didn't even have to ask the question, I was like, I got you, friend, I'll do it again. And I'm doing it at the church, did you know that? Pastor Scott asked me to do it for, the sunrise service. Yeah. Hi, Al, I heard you got your leave and I missed it, son of a biscuit. You'll have to do it again. I'll be at the next one.
Okay.
I will.
Choice.
Yep, for the sunrise service for the church. It's gonna be different, you know? We're gonna have to bring it a little bit different. Because, I invited my kids and, you know, so trust in God.
You'll find
I know. I know. But I am gonna do that. I wasn't really sure what to expect when I went to that Rose walk, you know, because I've already worked on myself for 2.5 years and, you know, my relationship with God is already so strong. So I wasn't really sure what to expect, you know, and, I can say one thing, you know, since I changed, I had to change all those years. Literally, Crystal and Chrissy are the only two that I still am friends with today because they're about the right things, but it was never easy to do that. Cut out all those old people, so one thing that trip did, bless me with was new people. So,
Brenda?
yep, that's right, my mother's name. Hello, Brenda, I'm Jennifer.
There are a couple women I see.
Yeah, always. There's usually a few more, but, you know, I had a couple of flappers tonight, so
I noticed.
I'm pulling their weight. Life happens sometimes, you know.
Well, I had before the meeting started, where could I find some women's meetings or more women? Nothing they're making about better.
Well, I mean, there's a variety of us all over, but, just,
Yeah. We don't have.
I like it.
We don't have.
Not really like reading online for some reason.
It's always a
Listening,
couple.
yeah, right, but
Um,
I need to get it done.
The reason why I just, well,
What do you do
is I
today?
just moved here.
Sled off
And
fast.
I need a sponsor.
And
then, I'm looking for a woman.
we need a big boat.
I'm just trying to feel out. I was sort of laid out for a week or two because it's cold.
yeah.
Now I'm back.
Where'd you live?
Right there, there's four of them right there.
There's a
So if you don't have the money, we'll get it for you, buddy.
It's a litter.
Oh, but it's, that's right, because I was looking,
Yeah, and, there's more, there's some women that do that. And that's pretty good. It's kind of, you know, where you
We got everybody in the house tonight.
Lucky me.
Huh?
Always have been.
I have my GPS, I can.
and it's a state right there.
Oh, I will.
That's a good one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gary,
I read real slow.
Oh, yeah.
My wife likes to
Area, I would like to write it. So I
Should
would
be
like
showing
to,
you a post on that.
but I was venturing out this last time, this time.
Well, that's gonna
Dwayne.
be over here shortly.
Money.
Do the money?
Wanna do money?
Yeah, you know, and you've got the meeting guide or.
Not going Sunday morning?
Awesome.
So
Oh, yeah, it's in person.
you know, to find out where they're at.
Yeah, I tried to do some around here.
Tried to tell you, you don't like going Sunday morning.
St. Mary's,
You feeling okay?
where the closest, so I'm starting out with little,
Ain't done any cars this week?
That's a good thing. I've been doing online.
That's a good
5 or 6 days, but I've only been.
They don't do it for me.
Thank you.
Looks like it's close
I'm
enough.
doing it like, and I'm doing the steps the guys all ready to go. So I'm sure there is, but I'll check out the footage and let you know if it's got going.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Friday night meeting of AA in Coldwater, Ohio. I'm Steve, I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to open this meeting with a serenity prayer. Excuse me, before we do that, let's have a moment of silence followed by the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The preamble of AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership, and we are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. I've asked a friend to read how it works.
That's Tom,
Tom.
Tom.
This is how it works. Rarely we've seen a person fail who has thoroughly fought our path. Those who do not recover, or people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program, choose men and women with competition and capable of making harm to themselves. They are such unfortunate and our fault, they seem to be born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living from anger and honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we're like now. If you decide you want what we have and are willing to do anything to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. Just lost my words.
That's some of these.
As some of these we bought, we probably found easier, softer ways, but we could not. With an earnestness at our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us try to hold on to old ideas, and the result was nil, and no absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power. That one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at a turning point. We asked his protection, care, and complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which suggested a program of recovery. God, I'm reading. I just started reading the whole thing over again. Many of us exclaim, what an order, I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has done anything like over principles. We're not saints. The point is that we want to go along spiritual lines. Principles, as I said, die on guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventures before and after make clear three pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our lives. B, that upon no human power could relieve their alcoholism. And C, that God could do it.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom. Here at Coldwater, we encourage sponsorship and getting a home group. If you are interested in getting a home group or a sponsor, see a home group member after the meeting. If you have any questions, home group members, raise your hands. Okay, Charlie?
I'm Charlie Alcoholic.
Hey, Charlie.
The 12 traditions. Upon our common law prayers should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2, for a group purpose, there is one ultimate authority. A loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants who do not govern. 3, the only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4, each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6, an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend any name to any related facility or outside enterprise. These problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues. 10, say name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Thanks,
Thanks, Charlie. Leo?
Leo Alcoholic promises spiritual life is not a theory, we have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness would make a skeptic out of anyone. There may be some wrongs we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter, and there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases, but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or straightening. As God's people, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. We are painstaking about this phase of our development. We will be amazed before we are halfway through it. We're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises?
We think not.
They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if you work for them.
Thanks, Leo. Andrew?
I'm Andrew, recovering alcoholic. Daily reflect. What? No president told that our Social Security has no president having authority to govern it. No treasurer who can comply the payment of any dues. Our fears, our friends, yes, and explain. This simply cannot be. 12 steps in tradition, page 132. When I finally made my way into AA, I could not believe that there was no treasure to comply the payment of dues. I could not imagine an organization that didn't require monetary contribution in return for a service. It was my first and this was only experience with getting something for nothing, because I did not feel used or conveyed by those in AA. I was able to approach the program free from face and with an open mind. they wanted nothing from me, what could I lose? I thank God for the wisdom of the early founders who knew so well the alcoholics designed for being manageable.
Thanks, Andrew. Gary? Gary?
I'm Gary, but not Alec.
Hey, Gary.
February 28th, 8th of today. We should be free from alcohol for good. It's out of our hands and in the hands of God. So we don't need to worry about it, even think about it anymore. If we haven't done this honestly and fully, the chances are that it will become our problem again. Since we don't trust God to take care of the problem for us, we reach out and take the problem back to ourselves. Then it's our problem again, and we're in the same old mess we were in before. We're helpless again, and we drink. So I trust God to take care of the problem for me. Meditation for the day. No work is of value without preparation. Even spiritual work must have behind it much spiritual preparation. Short times of prayer and times of spiritual preparation and many hours of work may be profitless. From the point of view of God, our poor tool working all the time but doing bad work because it lacks preparation is of small value compared with a sharp, keen, perfect instrument working for only a short time, which turns out perfect work because of the long hours of spiritual preparation. Prayer for me, I pray that I may spend more time alone with God. I pray that I may get more strength and joy from such time so that they would add much to my work.
Thanks, Gary. Here at Coldwater we celebrate various things Friday. Jorge?
Hello everyone, my name is Jorge and I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jorge.
Here at Coldwater we hand out a token for different lengths of sobriety. We start these tokens like it is suggested. We work a program 24 hours at a time. Is there anyone they starting out, coming back, they need a 24-hour token? One to 3 months. 4 to 7 months. 8 to 11 months. A year. 18 months. Is any year there or after? Does anyone have any kind you want to recognize? We all have today given yourself a heart.
Thank you, Jorge.
Seventh tradition basket has gone around. Excuse me. Okay. Announcements for AA. Got the March 15th. They've got the bowling thing over at Claymore Lane. Starts at 8:15. That'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow. $4.25 a game. Free shoe rental. And I was there once last year, and it's a good time. So grab your bowling shoes and get on out there and roll a few lines, as they say. There's also this Trust God, Clean House, Help Others, Grand Wayne Convention Center in Fort Wayne, Indiana, from May 2nd through the 4th of May. If anybody's interested in going, there's a flyer on it. There's a golf outing in conjunction with that. If anybody wants to play some golf, They've got a thing, they got a flyer in there. And then they got this, whatever they call that thing, for AA. Big, I don't know what they call it. I call it scrambled eggs, but it don't matter. Is there any announcements for the good of AA, or anybody got anything? Okay, literature, we have literature. If anybody needs a book or whatever, see myself or any of the group members and we'll help you out. Brings us to what we're here tonight for. The young lady I had asked to give her lead, I've heard before, but at the last minute I heard she had a medical emergency in her family, so a friend of hers decided she said she would step up to the plate, and I've never heard her lead before, but